The ivory invitation burned in Nathaniel Rhodes' hand like a brand. Rachel's engagement party. Saturday. Black tie. His ex-wife knew exactly how to twist the knife. Chicago's October wind cut through Grant Park as he walked aimlessly, suffocating under the weight of his own loneliness. Then he heard it. A voice like smoke and whiskey, raw and achingly beautiful. The woman sat on a weathered bench, guitar cradled against her chest, dark hair falling around sharp cheekbones. Her eyes were amber, guarded, carrying the weight of someone who'd learned not to trust easily. The guitar case at her feet held scattered bills and loose change. That was beautiful, Nathaniel said. Stopping despite every instinct screaming at him to walk away, she looked up, assessing his expensive suit with a calculating gaze. Most people just drop $1 and keep walking. I'm not most people, obviously. Her tone carried an edge. Let me guess. Slumming it? Taking a walk to feel connected to the common folk? Her directness hit him like a punch. No one spoke to him this way. I was thinking, your music made me stop thinking. Something shifted in her expression. The armor didn't disappear, but it cracked. Rough day? Rough life. She gestured to the empty space beside her. Want to talk about it? I've got time. When was the last time someone offered him genuine companionship? Nathaniel sat, maintaining careful distance. I'm Nathaniel, Sophia. She set her guitar aside, giving him her full attention. So what's got Chicago's elite looking so miserable in my corner of the world? How do you know I'm elite? Her smile transformed her face, sharp edges turning luminous. Honey, your watch costs more than I make in 6 months. Plus, you've got that look. What look? The look of someone who has everything money can buy and nothing money can't. The truth of it cut through him. They sat in comfortable silence as city lights began to twinkle in the gathering darkness. Can I ask you something? Nathaniel said finally. If someone offered you a lot of money to pretend to be something you're not for one evening, would you do it? Sophia turned to face him fully, amber eyes searching. Depends on what I'd have to pretend to be and why. This was insane, but something about her made him want to trust her with the truth. My ex-wife is getting married Saturday. She invited me to her engagement party, expecting me to show up alone so she can humiliate me in front of everyone we know. I need someone to come with me. Someone who can hold her own in a room full of sharks. You think I'm that someone? I think you're the only person I've met in years who seems genuinely unafraid of anything. Sophia laughed, but not unkindly. You don't know me very well. I'm afraid of lots of things. I'm not asking you to become someone else. I'm asking you to be exactly who you are, just in a different setting. Fancy party full of rich people who will look down on me the second I open my mouth. A fancy party full of insecure people who hide behind money and status. You'll see right through them. That's what I need. The October wind rustled through the trees as she considered. How much? $20,000 for one evening? Her eyes widened. That's insane. That's desperation. His voice cracked slightly. I know this is crazy, but I saw you sitting here, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt something other than empty. Maybe that's worth being a little crazy. Sophia was quiet for a long moment, studying his face in the dim park light. You're serious, completely. One evening, I show up, play the adoring girlfriend, and leave with $20,000. That's the deal. She extended her hand. Then we have an agreement, Nathaniel Rhodes. Her grip was firm, her palm calloused from guitar strings. When their hands touched, something electric passed between them. Neither of them acknowledged it, but neither could ignore it. I'll pick you up Saturday at 6, Nathaniel said, standing. Where whatever makes you feel powerful. As he walked away, Sophia called after him. Hey, Nathaniel. He turned. Why me? Really? He looked at her for a long moment. Because when I listen to you sing, I remember what it feels like to be human. 3 days later, Sophia stood in front of her cracked bathroom mirror, trying on the vintage black dress she'd found at a thrift store. It hugged her curves like liquid shadow, elegant and dangerous. Her roommate Maya leaned against the doorframe. You're really doing this? $20,000, Maya. That's 6 months of rent. Maybe more. I can finally record a real album, or you could end up in over your head with some billionaire who thinks he can buy anything. Sophia met her own eyes in the mirror. I'm not for sale. I'm just renting myself out for an evening. It's a difference. There has to be. Her phone buzzed. Nathaniel's text was simple. Ready? Sophia grabbed her jacket and headed for the door, ignoring the nervous flutter in her stomach.
I knew.
Maya called after her. Always am. But as Sophia climbed into the back of Nathaniel's sleek black car and saw the way his eyes darkened when he looked at her, she realized she'd just made a deal with the devil, and she wasn't sure she wanted to back out. The ballroom dripped with old money and older grudges. Crystal chandeliers cast fractured light across faces painted with practiced smiles and calculated cruelty. Rachel's engagement party was a battlefield, dressed as a celebration. Sophia's hand rested in the crook of Nathaniel's arm as they entered. She could feel the tension radiating through his expensive suit. Breathe, she whispered. You look like you're walking to your execution. Feels like it. Then Rachel appeared, gliding toward them in a champagne silk gown that probably cost more than Sophia's entire life. She was beautiful in that cold, untouchable way. Diamond hard and twice as cutting. Nathaniel. Rachel's smile was poisonous, honey. You actually came. And you brought a date. How unexpected. Her eyes raked over Sophia with surgical precision, cataloging every imperfection, every sign that she didn't belong. Rachel, this is Sophia. Nathaniel's voice was steady, but his hand tightened on Sophia's. Charming. Rachel's tone suggested the opposite. And what do you do, Sophia? This was the moment. Sophia could feel the weight of every eye in the room turning toward them. I'm a musician. How bohemian. Aditya's laugh was crystalline and cruel. Nathaniel always did have a soft spot for charity cases. The insult hung in the air like a slap. Sophia felt Nathaniel stiffen, ready to defend her. But she didn't need defending. Actually, Sophia said, her voice carrying just enough edge to draw blood, I think Nathaniel has a soft spot for people who are real. Must be refreshing after whatever this is. She gestured vaguely at the room, at the perfectly coiffed crowd. At Rachel's frozen smile, the silence that followed was delicious. Rachel's eyes flashed with something dangerous. Well, I see you've found someone who matches your level of social awareness, Nathaniel. How perfect. She's right, though. A voice cut through the tension. Jonathan Pierce, Rachel's fiancé, stepped forward with an amused smile. This whole thing is rather performative. Rachel insisted on inviting you, Nathaniel. Said it would be good closure. He looked at Rachel with barely concealed contempt, though I suspect her motives were less therapeutic and more theatrical. Rachel's perfect mask cracked. Jonathan? Not here? Why not? He turned to Nathaniel and Sophia. You seem like sensible people. Let me ask you something. If your fiancé invited their ex to your engagement party just to humiliate them, would that strike you as healthy relationship behavior? Sophia's instincts screamed warning. This wasn't just drama. This was a grenade with the pin pulled. Jonathan, you're drunk, Rachel hissed. I'm lucid. He laughed bitterly. Maybe for the first time in months. Do you know why she's marrying me, Nathaniel? Because my father's company is worth more than yours. That's it. That's the great romance. Rachel's face went white. Stop talking. Or what? You'll leave me? Please do. Save me the trouble of calling off this farce myself. The ballroom erupted in whispers. Rachel stood frozen, her perfect world crumbling in real time, but then her eyes landed on Sophia, and something terrible flickered behind them. Recognition, or maybe calculation, Rachel said slowly, pointing at Sophia. You're not really his girlfriend, are you? Sophia's heart stopped. I can always tell when Nathaniel's lying. He gets this little crease right here. Rachel tapped her own forehead. He had it when he said he loved me toward the end, and he has it now. The room held its breath. This was all a show, Rachel continued, her voice rising. He hired you, paid you to come here and play pretend, because he couldn't stand the thought of showing up alone. Nathaniel's hand dropped from Sophia's arm. The space between them suddenly felt like a canyon. "Is that true?" Jonathan asked, genuinely curious now. All eyes on them, waiting, judging. Sophia could lie. She could play the role she'd been paid for. But something in Rachel's triumphant smile made her blood boil. Sophia said clearly, "He paid me $20,000 to stand here and let people like you look down on me." The gasps were audible. "But here's what you don't understand, Rachel." Sophia stepped forward, her voice steady as a blade. In the 3 days I've known Nathaniel, he's shown me more genuine humanity than you've probably experienced in your entire gilded life. So yeah, this started as a transaction, but the only person who should be embarrassed here is you." She turned to Nathaniel. "Leaving, keep your money, Sophia, wait." But she was already walking away, her vintage dress, a dark stain against the crystal perfection of the ballroom. Behind her, the party dissolved into chaos. Nathaniel caught up with her in the marble lobby. "Please, let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you were desperate enough to pay someone to care about you." "I already knew that, Nathaniel. I took the job, remember? It wasn't supposed to be like this." "Then what was it supposed to be?" Her voice cracked. "Because somewhere between your car and that ballroom, I forgot I was acting. Okay. And that's the most dangerous thing that could have happened." His eyes searched hers. "You weren't the only one who forgot." The confession hung between them like a live wire. "Don't," Sophia whispered. "Don't make this real. Real things break, Nathaniel, and I've been broken enough, so have I." She shook her head, stepping back. This was a mistake. All of it. Thought. As she pushed through the revolving doors into the Chicago night, Nathaniel called after her. "Sophia." She stopped but didn't turn. "I meant what I said in the park. When I listen to you sing, I remember what it feels like to be human. Then maybe you should learn to feel that way without needing someone else to remind you." The night swallowed her whole, leaving Nathaniel standing alone in the golden light of the lobby, wondering how a fake arrangement had become the most real thing in his life. 2 weeks passed like open wounds. Sophia threw herself into her music, playing longer sets in the park, accepting every small gig she could find. Anything to drown out the echo of Nathaniel's voice in her head. The check arrived on a Tuesday. $20,000, with a note in precise handwriting. "You earned this. Please take it." She burned it. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. Sophia Chen. A woman's voice, smooth and professional. "My name is Miranda Cole. I'm a talent scout for Vertigo Records. I heard you playing in Grant Park last week. I'd like to discuss a recording contract." Sophia's heart stopped. "Is this a joke?" "I assure you it's not. Can we meet tomorrow? Or say 2 o'clock at the Violet Hour?" After she hung up, Sophia stared at her phone in disbelief. This was it. Everything she'd been working toward. Her break. But a small voice in the back of her mind whispered, "Too convenient." She ignored it. The next afternoon, Miranda Cole sat across from her in a leather booth, impeccably dressed and radiating industry power. She slid a contract across the table. "We want to sign you for a 3-album deal. Advance of $200,000? Full creative control." Sophia's hands trembled as she read the contract. "This is real? Very real? You're talented, Sophia? Raw. Authentic. That's rare in this business." Miranda leaned back. "Though I have to admit, your connection to Nathaniel Rhodes didn't hurt in bringing you to our attention." The temperature in Sophia's body dropped 10 degrees. "Excuse me? You didn't know?" Miranda's smile was perfectly practiced. "Mr. Rhodes contacted us 3 weeks ago, said he'd discovered an incredible talent, and suggested we take a look. When we did our due diligence, we found you were worth the recommendation." Sophia felt the room tilt. 3 weeks ago, before the party. Yes. Is that a problem? Everything clicked into place with sickening clarity. The chance encounter in the park, the desperate offer. The connection that felt too perfect to be real. Because it wasn't real. "I need to go." Sophia stood abruptly. "Wait, the contract? I'll think about it." She was out the door before Miranda could finish, her phone already pressed to her ear. Nathaniel answered on the first ring. "Sophia, you set this up?" Her voice was shaking. "All of it. The record deal, Miranda Cole, finding me. You made it happen. Silence. Answer me, Nathaniel. Yes. His voice was quiet. I called in a favor. Asked them to give you a real audition. That's all I did. The rest was your talent. That's all? She laughed bitterly. You manipulated my entire life. Made me think I had some kind of genuine opportunity, when really it was just another transaction for you. Another thing you could buy. That's not fair. I heard you sing, and I knew you deserved more than playing in parks for loose change. It just opened a door. You're the one talented enough to walk through it. You had no right. I know. His voice cracked. I know. And I'm sorry. But Sophia, if you don't sign that contract because you're angry at me, you're only hurting yourself. Don't you dare make this about me. This is about you thinking you can control everything with your money, including me. I never wanted to control you. I wanted to help you. I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask for any of this. She hung up, threw her phone across her apartment. Watched it shatter against the wall. Maya found her an hour later, sitting on the floor, surrounded by pieces of broken phone and broken dreams. What happened? Everything was a lie. Sophia's voice was hollow. The record deal, the connection, all of it. He orchestrated it, made me believe in something that wasn't real, so the deal's fake. No, that's the worst part. It's real. The contract is legitimate. My talent is legitimate. But it's all tainted now because he made it happen. Maya sat down beside her. So what are you going to do? Sophia looked at the business card Miranda had given her. Vertigo Records, her dream within reach, wrapped in betrayal. I don't know. That night, Sophia went back to the park, back to her bench. But the magic was gone. Every song felt hollow. Every note tasted like ashdot. She was packing up when she sensed him before she saw him. Nathaniel stood at the edge of the lamplight, looking more disheveled than she'd ever seen him. No suit, just jeans and a sweater. His eyes were red-rimmed. I'm not here to apologize again, he said. I'm here to tell you the truth. I don't want to hear it, I know, but you need to. He moved closer. The night I found you here wasn't an accident. I was looking for you. Sophia's blood ran cold. What? Rachel told me about you? Months ago, before she left me. She said she'd seen the most incredible street musician in Grant Park. Kept going on about this woman, who sang like her heart was breaking, I thought. She was just being cruel, rubbing in the fact that she was out living life while I was drowning in work. He ran a hand through his hair. But after she sent that invitation, I remembered, and I went looking. I found you. And yes, I'd already called Vertigo before I approached you. I knew I was going to offer you the deal, but Sophia, the second you started singing, everything changed. Changed how? I fell for you. The words hung in the cold October air. Right there on that bench, listening to you sing, I fell completely, catastrophically for you. And suddenly the plan, the manipulation, all of it felt wrong. But I was already in too deep. Sophia felt tears burning her eyes. So what was the party? What was any of it? The party was me being selfish, wanting one night where you were mine, even if it was fake, even if I had to pay for it, and the record deal is yours. No strings. I'll call Miranda tomorrow and tell her I'm withdrawing any involvement. The contract stands on your merit alone, which is how it should have been from the beginning. He turned to leave. Nathaniel, he stopped. Did you mean it? What you said about falling for me? Every word. His voice was wrecked, which is why I need to walk away. Because I've already hurt you enough. As he disappeared into the darkness, Sophia sat back down on her bench, guitar in her lap, and for the first time in weeks, she wrote a new song about a broken man who tried to buy love and a broken woman who almost let him. Sophia signed the contract 3 days later. Miranda seemed relieved. Mr. Rhodes called, Miranda said carefully. He made it very clear that his involvement was advisory only, and that any decision we made should be based purely on your talent. And we'd sign you regardless of any connection to him. You're the real deal, Sophia. The recording session started the following week. Sophia poured everything into her music. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every moment of falling for someone she shouldn't have. The album took shape like a photograph developing in chemicals, becoming clearer and more painful with each passing day. She hadn't spoken to Nathaniel in 3 weeks when Maya burst into the studio, phone in hand. "You need to see this." The headline made Sophia's stomach drop. Rhodes' empire in crisis. Billionaire CEO faces hostile takeover. Ain't she read faster? Nathaniel's company was hemorrhaging value. His board had turned against him. Someone was systematically destroying everything he'd built. The next article made it worse. Rachel Thompson Pierce leads investor group in Rhodes' acquisition attempt. His ex-wife was trying to take his company. "This is revenge," Maya said. "For the engagement party. For humiliating her." Sophia's hands shook. "This is my fault." "No. This is Rachel being vindictive." But Sophia knew better. If Nathaniel hadn't brought her to that party, if he hadn't tried to move on, Rachel might have left him alone. Instead, Sophia had challenged her publicly, and this was the consequence. She found Nathaniel in his office at midnight. The lights of Chicago spread below him like fallen stars. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Shouldn't be here," he said without turning around. "I know what Rachel's doing, and you know it's over. She has enough votes. By Friday, I'll lose everything I built. Fight her." He laughed bitterly. "With what?" "She's turned everyone against me. The board, the investors, even some of my own team. Apparently, I'm an unstable leader who makes poor personal decisions." "You mean me?" "I mean all of it. The fake girlfriend scandal. The public argument at her party. She's painted me as erratic." And maybe she's right. Sophia moved closer. "You're not erratic. You're human. You made mistakes because you were hurting. Expensive mistakes." She was quiet for a moment. "What if there was a way to stop her?" "There isn't. What if I went to her, told her the truth, that I manipulated you, that the whole thing was my idea, my con? She's attacking you because she thinks you've moved on. But if I tell her it was all fake, that you were just a mark, maybe she'll back down." Nathaniel spun around. "Absolutely not. It could work. It would destroy you. Your career, your reputation. Vertigo would drop you in a second if they thought you were a con artist who targeted billionaires. So I'll find another label." "Sophia, no. I won't let you sacrifice everything you've worked for to save a company. It's not about the company." Her voice broke. "It's about you. You gave me a chance when no one else would. You saw something in me worth saving. Let me do the same for you. By destroying yourself. By proving that what we had, fake or not, meant something." He crossed the distance between them in 2 strides, hands framing her face. "You are the most infuriating, selfless, incredible person I've ever met. And I am not letting you ruin your life for mine." "Then what's your plan?" "I don't have one." His forehead rested against hers. "Maybe I deserve this. Maybe this is karma for trying to manipulate the universe. You don't deserve this. And I'm not going to let Rachel win." Before he could argue, she kissed him. It was desperate and real and tasted like goodbye. "I'm sorry," she whispered against his lips. "For what I'm about to do?" She pulled away and ran. The next morning, Sophia sat across from Rachel in a pristine conference room. Rachel looked like a predator who'd cornered her prey. "This is unexpected," Rachel said. "The little musician coming to beg for mercy. I came to tell you the truth." Sophia's voice was steady. "Everything that happened at your party was my fault. I approached Nathaniel. I convinced him to take me. I saw an opportunity to get close to a billionaire, and I took it." Rachel's eyes narrowed. "You're lying." "I'm not. I researched him after I saw his picture in a magazine. Found out about the divorce. Positioned myself in that park, knowing he walked there. I played him, Rachel. And he fell for it because he was lonely and desperate." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you're destroying an innocent man for something I did. If you want revenge, take it on me, not him." Rachel studied her for a long, cold moment. Then she smiled. "You're in love with him." Sophia's carefully constructed facade cracked. "That's why you're here," Rachel continued. "Sacrificing yourself to save him. How romantic. How utterly pointless. If you leave his company alone, I'll disappear. I'll kill the record deal. I'll leave Chicago. You'll never see either of us again. Well, tempting. But here's what you don't understand. Rachel leaned forward. I don't want him back. I don't even want his company. I want him to know what it feels like to lose everything, the way I felt when he chose his empire over our marriage. He loved you. He loved his work. I was just window dressing. Then why marry Jonathan? Why this whole production? Rachel's mask slipped for just a second. Because if I couldn't have love, I'd settle for power. And taking Nathaniel's company gives me both. Sophia stood. Then you're more broken than he ever was. As she walked out, Rachel called after her. Sophia, your little confession won't save him, but it will destroy you. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you tried to do. The con artist, who targeted a vulnerable billionaire, I know. Sophia didn't turn around. Some things are worth destroying yourself for. The story hit the media that afternoon. Sophia watched her career implode in real time. Vertigo dropped her. Miranda stopped returning calls. Even her small gigs dried up as venue owners decided she was too controversial. But when she checked the business news, Nathaniel's company had stabilized. Rachel had backed down, claiming the acquisition was no longer financially viable. Maya found Sophia on their fire escape, guitar in hand. You saved him. I destroyed myself. Was it worth it? Sophia looked out at the Chicago skyline, thinking of a billionaire CEO who'd shown her what it meant to be human. Yeah, it was worth it.
Ow.
Her phone buzzed. One message. Why? She didn't have to ask who it was from. She typed back, because when I sing now, I remember what it feels like to be human too. You taught me that. Come to Grant Park. Our bench, please. Sophia grabbed her guitar. The November wind bit harder than October's had. Sophia found Nathaniel sitting on their bench, looking out at the Chicago skyline with an expression she couldn't read. You shouldn't have done it, he said as she sat beside him. Probably not. Rachel's leaking everything to the press. Your reputation is in ruins. Small price. He finally looked at her. His eyes were raw. Why would you destroy yourself for me? Because you were going to lose everything trying to give me a dream. That's not the same, isn't it? Sophia set her guitar case down. We're both idiots who can't stop trying to save each other from ourselves. Despite everything, he almost smiled. That's one way to put it. He sat in silence, watching the city lights flicker on as dusk settled over the park. The same bench where everything had started, where a desperate billionaire had offered a street musician $20,000 for one evening of pretend. I have something for you, Nathaniel said, pulling out a folder. Sophia opened it. Legal documents. Dense and incomprehensible. What is this? Transfer of ownership? 51% of my company's shares? In your name. Her heart stopped. What? Rachel backed down because I gave her what she wanted. Control. But I didn't give it to her. I gave it to you, Nathaniel. No. I can't accept this. You already sacrificed everything for me. This is me returning the favor. He turned to face her fully. I've spent my entire life building an empire because I thought that's what would make me matter. But the night I walked through this park and heard you sing, I realized I'd built a prison instead. So burn it down, Sophia said. Start over, I did. The company's yours now. Do whatever you want with it. Sell it, destroy it, turn it into a charity. I don't care anymore. What will you do? I don't know. He looked lost in a way that made her chest ache. Figure out who Nathaniel Rhodes is when he's not a billionaire CEO, I guess. Sophia stared at the documents in her hands. More money than she could comprehend. More power than she'd ever wanted. This is insane. Completely. I'm giving this back to you. I won't take it, or then I'll tear it up. I'll just have my lawyers draft new ones. She laughed despite herself. You're impossible. Are you? His voice softened. You destroyed your career to save my company. I destroyed my company to save your soul. We're even. We're idiots. That too. The wind picked up, scattering leaves around their feet. Sophia pulled her jacket tighter. What now? She asked. I have no idea. Nathaniel looked at her with something that might have been hope. For the first time in my life, I have absolutely no plan, no strategy, no next move. It's terrifying. Welcome to how the rest of us live. Is it always this scary? Usually scarier. She paused, but sometimes it's beautiful. He reached for her hand. His palm was warm against her cold fingers. Sophia Chen, I have made every wrong decision possible when it comes to you. I manipulated you, paid you, lied to you, and dragged you into my mess of a life. But the one thing I never lied about was this. He brought her hand to his chest, right over his heart. When I'm with you, I remember what it means to be human. Not a CEO, not a billionaire, just a man who fell in love with a woman who sings like her heart is breaking. Because maybe it is, and maybe mine is too. And maybe that's exactly what we both needed. Tears burned in Sophia's eyes. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be with someone who's seen all my broken pieces. I don't either. He smiled sadly. But maybe that's the point. We're both so shattered that our broken pieces fit together in ways whole peoples never could. That's either beautiful or deeply dysfunctional. Can it be both? She kissed him then, not desperate like the last time. Not goodbye, but hello. A beginning instead of an ending. When they pulled apart, Nathaniel rested his forehead against hers. I need to tell you something. The truth this time. No manipulation. No games. I'm listening. That night in the park wasn't random, but it also wasn't the calculated plan I told you about. Rachel did mention you months ago, but I'd forgotten. The night I went walking, I was actually going to the bridge. Sophia's breath caught. I was going to jump. His voice cracked. I'd lost everything that mattered. My marriage, my self-respect, any sense of purpose beyond building something bigger than my emptiness. And then I heard you singing. Tears spilled down Sophia's cheeks. Your song saved my life before we ever spoke. So when I approached you, when I made that crazy offer, it wasn't about the party. It was about not wanting to let go of the person who'd given me a reason to live. Nathaniel, I fell in love with you in 30 seconds. Everything after that was just me trying to justify staying close to you. Sophia pulled him close, their broken pieces pressing together. I need to tell you something too. Kay, that confession to Rachel. It wasn't entirely a lie. I did see your picture in a magazine. I did research you. And when I chose that bench in Grant Park, it wasn't random. I knew you walked there. She felt him stiffen. But Nathaniel, the second you sat down, the second you looked at me like I was something more than a street musician trying to scrape by, I forgot all of it. The plan dissolved, and I fell just as hard as you did. Day. Held each other in the gathering dark, two broken people who'd tried to save each other and ended up saving themselves instead. So what now? Sophia asked again. Now we figure it out. Nathaniel pulled back just enough to see her face. No money, no deals, no manipulation. Just us being honest and terrified and completely uncertain. That sounds awful, doesn't it? He grinned. Want to try anyway? Sophia looked at the legal documents in her hand. The company that represented everything Nathaniel had built, everything Rachel had tried to destroy, everything Sophia had sacrificed herself to save. She tore them in half. What are you doing? Nathaniel asked. Giving you a third option. She tore the papers again. We don't keep the company. We don't burn it down. We give it to someone who can actually do good with it. And we start over. Both of us. Together. With nothing but our broken pieces, and maybe that's enough. It's definitely not enough, you're right. She picked up her guitar. We'll need this too. As she started to play, Nathaniel leaned back against the bench, watching her with something that looked like peace. The song was new, about two people who tried to buy and sell each other and ended up finding something priceless instead. When the last note faded, Nathaniel spoke quietly. I don't have anything to offer you anymore. No record deals. No money. No fairy tale. Good. Sophia set her guitar aside. Fairy tales are overrated anyway. I'd rather have something real, even if real means starting from nothing. Especially then. Ah! She took his hand. Because this time, we get to build something that actually matters. Not an empire, just a life. Our life. The Chicago wind carried their words away into the November night. Behind them, the city glowed with possibility. Ahead, nothing but uncertainty. But for the first time and longer than either could remember, uncertain felt like hope. They left the torn documents on the bench, worthless papers scattered by the wind. Hand in hand, they walked into the darkness. Two broken souls who'd finally found their way home, not to a penthouse or a stage, but to each other. The end.